Okay, hello everyone and welcome back to Crypto Warehouse. My name is Brogan and today we are back for another trading stream. So, it's a bit crazy, okay? It's a bit mental. There's a lot of sad people today. Let me start my timer, okay? There's a lot of sad people. Now, I said this in the Telegram. I'll say it again. The promising of me giving substantial technical analysis, analytical advice, not financial advice though, just opinion, I suppose. I don't promise massive TA because the markets are the chart is so unbelievably crazy that I don't know if I'd be able to actually in detail look at it. So we might look at the lower time frames maybe. I haven't actually looked too much of obviously the charts. I like to save myself for the streams, you know. I did look at Bitcoin. I did look at some other stuff. I did look at XRP. It's all pretty much the same across the board. So we're here. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. Let me just refresh Binance to see if it works. I don't know if it works. Let's just hopefully Binance will fix itself. So welcome to you all. BC Game 90. Mags is here. Thank you both of you for being here. Early. It's a quiet night tonight. Obviously, I assume people will pick up and join throughout the stream. Hopefully, you guys have weathered through what happened. Can't see on Binance Guide. Yeah, it must have broke. I don't know. It's such an awful website. I mean, again, we know how bad Binance is. I mean, we know how badly their app and website performed when everything was dumping. So, you know, I suppose it's not too... I'm not surprised then how bad their website is. Anyway, what we have on the screen. So I have some tweets. I just want to go over, you know, so how people are feeling about what's happened and just some tweets in general I thought were interesting. So the first tweet we have here from this guy, I don't really care who he is, but more importantly is the screenshot of Hyperliquid. In terms of the leaderboard of profit and loss, obviously this is filtered by the most lost. So just this image from Hyperliquid, not even the top centralized exchanges. So this is just from Hyperliquid. This is just from profit and loss of individuals on Hyperliquid. Obviously there's plenty of people across the board. This is just Hyperliquid. Obviously you can see 60.8 million profit and loss down, 35, 22 million, 21 million, 19, 18, 17, just millions and millions and millions gone. Most people liquidated. Even people who are on 2x multiplication, 2x leverage, I should say, is a better way of saying it. 2x leverage. Even people on 2x leverage were liquidated. This, and I have the coin glass. There it is. Last 24 hours. Here it is. 24-hour rect. Obviously, this is globally across shorts as well, but obviously mainly longs here. $16.2 billion. $16.2 billion. I had a tweet. I don't know if I copied it actually of how much were liquidated versus via COVID, FTX, and now I think it was like 1.8 billion, 2 billion, let's say, for COVID and FTX, just as an example. 16.2 billion. This is like the biggest liquidation. It's crazy. And, safe to say, not a lot of people expected this. Obviously, going through the tweets now, we've seen this one. Going to the next one here. Obviously, this is. I mean, obviously, you know, people like to do their exploration of, you know, the transactions. Obviously, again, the blockchain. It's very transparent. So apparently, a new crypto account was opened yesterday morning. This was made 1:31 p.m. I think my time today. So basically midday today. UTC +2. So yesterday morning, obviously yesterday being a Friday morning, obviously when everything occurred, a new crypto account was opened yesterday morning, 30 minutes before Trump's announcement of 100% tariffs on China. It added a huge multi-million-dollar leveraged Bitcoin short position per YF. I don't know. The market dumped. This trader made a profit of $192 million in 2 hours. So that's very convenient, isn't that very convenient? A new account, a new crypto account, boom, puff, out of thin air. Yesterday morning, within the same day that Trump announces, oh yeah, screw you, China, 100% additional on top for China, or the tariffs of 100% additional value on top for China. 30 minutes before it got announced, multi-million-dollar leveraged Bitcoin short. I mean, hey, this guy must have been a professional. This guy must have been an absolute professional. I mean, I aspire to be someone like that, you know, be able to open up an account, immediately put in a multi-million-dollar short on Bitcoin 30 minutes before one of the biggest long liquidation events ever has occurred, via the catalyst of Trump announcing tariffs 100% for China. So that is pretty convenient. Obviously, I guess we can only figure out who that is. So moving on anyway, not related in the slightest. This is just a random tweet. Man, Trump has reportedly made $80 million from Bitcoin and crypto investments. It's just I think this is over the course, but it's just to show the example. You know, Barron's doing really well, it seems. Barron's doing really well. I mean, I think we could probably, you know, throw our minds back throughout the how long Trump's been in power, how long Trump's been doing his thing, and how many events we've had where Bitcoin's rallied or not rallied, and what has occurred during these rallies, and what has sparked these rallies. So hey, I mean, he's professional. I mean, hey, you know, can't blame him. Also, as well, a very nice little bit of BlackRock for there. BlackRock bought 45,000 Bitcoin worth $5 billion at an average price of $105,000. That is pretty bloody accurate for the bottom. That is, hey, they've got professionals again. That's why BlackRock's BlackRock, you know. That's why BlackRock is BlackRock. They're professionals over there, you know what I mean? But it's just, you know, it's nice to see. Nice to see there are absolute professionals out there, you know, people, you know, losing their lives over this, you know, very sad to see. Some of the situations for certain people, you know, this really, you know, this messed up a lot of people. I mean, no matter how big or small, I don't think it's a thing where, oh, well, you know, I was showing how much certain people lost just to show it as how bad it is. But I don't think this is a scenario where, oh, you know, this guy only lost $2,000, this guy lost, you know, 1 million, you know, this guy 1 million, this guy's hurting more than $2,000. Well, I think everyone can hurt equally in this scenario. You know, everyone's situations are individual. Everyone's scenarios, whether how much they trade with, how long they trade with, whatever they trade, it's all individual. So everyone is hurting. Yeah, you know, whether you lost $2,000, $100, 1 million, 60 million. You know, this has hurt a lot of people. So yikes. In terms of how I feel about it, I don't know what to say about it. It's crazy. I mean, it's just, I mean, if I was Trump and I knew I was buying back while Liberty Finance had to burn it, I would do the same thing. You know, I'd go, you know what, we need to buy World Liberty Finance back, and we need to burn it. So what are we gonna do? Well, I don't want to buy it at 30 cents. Why would I want to buy it at 30 cents? I want to buy it at 8 cents. So what I'm going to do, as Mr. Trump myself, I'm going to throw out this absolute, I promise you, I'm going to add a 100% tariff to China. People lose their lives. Well, it doesn't matter for Trump, because he can buy back World Liberty Finance and burn the lot of it, and watch World Liberty Finance absolutely rip upwards. So, you know what I mean? Hey, if I was Trump, I'd do the same thing. You know what I mean? Any giveaway today? No giveaway today. If you do want a giveaway, you can come along Wednesday. That's when we do our quizzes and our name giveaways. So you can, if you don't care about talking about the markets, you can, you know, it's safe to say you don't have to wait. Okay, you can leave. It does amaze me how many traders with high followings did not foresee that move and got liquidated. Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm not gloating, and hey, I've got things wrong. You know what I mean? I got things wrong. I did say short Bitcoin. I did say I'm short on Bitcoin. However, I didn't think it was going to go to 107k. Now, I don't think anyone can really foresee Trump saying this. And I think I already wanted Bitcoin to go down. And you could clearly see we were in an uptrend, we were printing past highs, and then we didn't print past the high, and we were coming down. It was quite clear we were starting to come down. And the idea was we retrace. So the idea was already there. I mean, I can't say that I saw 107k. I can't say that, but I did see Bitcoin going down. I did see Ethereum going down. I think we were talking about syrup. Obviously, we're talking about weekly. We had the gap lower down, so I did want syrup to come down, but I do want it to come up overall, because again, you know, we've come past the low. We're going to find our low at some point for syrup, and then we're going to come upwards. Anyway, this is obviously for the charts. But yeah, I agree. I mean, there's so many people who got absolutely messed up by this. You know, there's so many people who, I mean, and that's fine. You know, people can have their opinions. You know, I can think one thing, someone else can think the other. You know, especially if I talk to Mike and I think, I think it's going to go down, and he thinks it's going to go up. One of us is going to be right. You know, and it might be me sometimes, and it might be him. So, you know what I mean? It is where it is. Yeah, I mean, for me, it was like, okay, well, we went past the high, and we just came right off it again. Didn't print. We're going to come down, and obviously we did have the weekly midpoint. You know, I did want us to come here. I would have rather us come here after printing past this, coming up one more time and coming down again. But we got there eventually. But, you know, I can't deny I did think, oh, we'll trace a tiny bit. We'll do this. But obviously, this still stands here. We didn't print. We didn't print. We did not print. I was saying this. Obviously, this was Friday. Last week anyway. Or the end of the end of last week. Obviously, it's still this week. This obviously still Friday. But last week, obviously talking about the idea of us coming past these highs and not printing is basically the important part. I remember talking about this maybe on Saturday or last Saturday. So obviously we have had some streams in between, but Saturday I think was the last. Obviously not last stream. That was Thursday, but last like before. I hadn't streamed. Obviously, I was recording. I don't know what is going on. I'm saying this horribly, but we did talk about this high here. Obviously, we did come up one more time, but I don't really care. Okay, the important part is we came past this high and we didn't print. Last time we did this, we came past the high, we didn't print. We came down really deep. We came up, we came past the high, we didn't print, we came down deep. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, you can see it, I guess. You can maybe not see it. But obviously, yesterday we were talking more on the daily here. I did want it to come down towards 116. But obviously, we can see we came a bit deeper than that, you know, coming towards the middle of this. Obviously, we were talking about, and this was obviously quite a while ago. This was obviously while we were over here. We were talking about us coming to the top end of this old support here. We were talking about us coming to around about the midpoint of this area. Obviously, you can see it is a bit offset on the weekly. Yes, so that makes sense. Again, if you look at the 4 hour and you look at order block, it might go off and offset. So it's going to be a massive offset because, again, we're on the weekly here. So it's going to be like a nice big old offset. But, you know, relative to the other one, it's about 1.3% offset, which obviously is 1.5k, big offset. But if you look at it, it's not that bad. Obviously, if you think it's bad, there you go. So it came to the midpoint of that, and obviously we've come back upwards. But, you know, and I did say this in Telegram, I do not promise major technical analysis when it comes to this. Obviously, I'm not a financial advisor or anything, but I do not promise me to have massive predictions. Although I'm jumping ahead, I'm jumping the gun. I'm not supposed to look at the charts right now. I'm supposed to look at percentage change. Okay, so we've looked at this. I wanted to quickly show what actually happened. You know, what it was for. But most of you guys are going to know what it is. You know what I'm saying? 100% tariff threatens, and the keyword here, threatens extra 100%. It's shaking. He's just shaking the market at this rate. He threatened an 100% tariff, and it caused people who had 2x leverage to get liquidated. I mean, hey, if you're on 2x leverage and you're getting liquidated, you must have longed at the top. Like, come on. You can't look at the weekly, come past the weekly high and not print and go, oh yeah, I'm long in that. Oh yeah, I'm long in Bitcoin. 100%, 160k, here we come. It's... You know what I mean? And this is what we talked about Saturday. And obviously, I know I missed during the week until Thursday. I know I missed some streams because I was trying to record the In the Trenches series. But from what I explicitly remember last stream was us talking about that high. And again, that is the main focus for the higher time frame. And it's a lot easier to talk about the higher time frame and have a stronger conviction because these are bigger moves. If I'm talking about the 50-minute, it's not really going to have a massive effect on the long term for the market. But this is weekly stuff we're talking about here. This is us wicking past highs, not printing, and dumping. And we did this already. And we've done this already. We've done this. You do this. We come past the high and we dump. You come past the high and you dump and you don't print. You come past the high and you dump. And okay, yes, it did go a lot faster, but I still think the move was there. Anyway. So yeah, measurable and clear export control, whatever. Software and take effect from November the 1st or sooner. So he's threatening, obviously, you know, he says he's threatening, but also at the same time, he intends to take effect on November the 1st. So I don't really care. I'm not going to read this too much. So, yeah, it's just words and a lot of things. Bad thing, you know, Trump do thing, whatever. Anyway, looking at CoinMarketCap here. So we can see some percentages. I think what I'm going to do for this stream, I think I'm just going to talk about it in retrospect. Because, again, I want to let it die down a bit, you know, because it's kind of crazy. And I will look at the 4 hour daily maybe and look at what we've got going on. But yeah, it's kind of crazy. Anyway, so 111,705 right now for Bitcoin, 4.39% down at 24 hour, 8.317 day. Obviously for the max high to the max low, obviously as we kind of came down, I don't know what time it was on Friday. It obviously must have been this candle. So it was about a 16% move for Bitcoin, let's say. I think that must have been when it started, roughly. Because I remember talking, yeah, this was Thursday. This is when we were talking about the stream. We were talking, yeah, because this was the reversal. This was me talking about, okay, we're reversing. Maybe we can start to come down towards some of these gaps down here. obviously became a bit lower than that, obviously, but this was the reversal. This is clear as day. Why are you longing this? Why are you longing this? You know, like if I'm longing Bitcoin, I'm going, oh yeah, we've just come past an all-time high, and then we've just printed past this low. I'm getting out. Obviously, it depends where I've longed, to be fair. But if I'm watching a clean as day, the cleanest up move, wick past the high, failed to print. This isn't good. Wick past the high, failed to print. Print through this candle, order block, retrace to order block. I'm switching. I'm short. You know what I mean? I'm short. I'm not doing this anymore. Yeah, there you go. Down we come. Anyway. 37,840. Now, again, I said, obviously, in the stream, I've looked at Bitcoin. I think I've glanced at XRP. I have not really looked at it a lot, I'm not gonna lie. So I'm quite excited. I have looked at BTC again because obviously I've recorded a video for that. Because obviously I talk in these streams. Not a lot of people watch streams live. Obviously some people watch it back, but I'm very aware of the fact that I talk for an eternity, so I try to obviously record faster videos. That's what I've been trying to do. So I have looked at BC game, but you know, it's going down anyway. But Ethereum 37,830. We already want it. I think from what I covered, I want Solana to go down because we were going down. I wanted Ethereum to go down. I wanted Bitcoin to go down. I wanted Syrup. I wasn't on the, I think Syrup, out of anything I covered last stream, Syrup, I was like, okay, I think I want Syrup to go upwards. But obviously we were talking on the weekly for Syrup, we were saying we do have that order block. I think it might have been an order block or a gap below us. So we could go towards that area to find a weekly low in the range we have before we potentially go upwards again. So that's what I was looking at for Syrup. Sui, I don't really think I looked too deep into. I think I kind of ended the stream because I was taking ages to talk about Bitcoin. So I haven't really looked at Sui, CRO, or XRP. I think I glanced at CRO, saying I wanted it to come down to 17.5. So I didn't want CRO to come back down. So I think pretty much across the board, I wanted everything to come down. So we've done it, but we've gone a lot further than the daily and the 4-hour target. So again, obviously, like we covered on Bitcoin on Thursday, my targets for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and pretty much across the board, they weren't like weekly targets. They were like daily 4-hour targets for the relative gaps in the move upwards. Obviously, it's been a bit crazy today, so we've gone towards, you know, midpoint of order blocks, for example, down towards some of these areas. Obviously there's probably something back here as well, you know, like there's always going to be something for somewhere, but anyway. XRP $2.44. It was a crazy fall. Obviously 17% down 7 day, 15.5 for Ethereum. It is bad, you know. It's just not nice for people, is it? It's just crazy. 2.6 for Sui, 26% down 7 day. I want to see a max down. Pumped off 440% down. I see 24-hour here. Pretty much the same story here. Yeah, I mean, so much down. I mean, there was a lot of like the sort of altcoin, meme coin, crap coins, which were just really, really down. People were like, oh, it's gone down. I've lost my money. I wouldn't really be trading those coins personally. Syrup, I don't know. I didn't know what Syrup's at. 34. That actually might be our area on the weekly. Obviously, it's CRO is 15. That's obviously a bit lower than 17.5, which was obviously the long term. That was the weekly target for CRO. We had the massive move up on the weekly, massive retracement. I wanted to come at least towards that low. So I wanted to fill that gap, and I wanted to come to that order block. So I reckon we're probably in the order block now. So obviously we'll see when we get there. But yeah, let me check the chat. I do see some comments. I was targeting 103k once we hit 126k single mark aggregation. Yeah, fair enough, absolutely. Obviously, I've been wanting it. I've wanted it to come down. Obviously, it did. You know, it'll go quite fast. So we did want it to come down. I think if we refer back to old targets on the weekly when we were talking about us coming to 90k, you know, pretty soon, it was going to be midpoint of that order block, retracing to see resistance at the new price action we formed and the order block top, and then continuing downwards. So that was about the midpoint. So it was around about 103k as well. But obviously I can't take full credit because yesterday I was saying 116, which obviously we came right past. Again with less than 0.1% portfolio. Exactly. I mean, I think most of your money should be spot Bitcoin. I don't know why most. I don't think most of your money should be like 60-80% of your money is futures trading. Even if it's 2x, things happen. Things happen. Why would you not just want to buy Bitcoin? Obviously, I know, oh, I want more money on this other. It's like, you know, just hold for the long run and then have a small, maybe not 0.0, you know, less than 0.1%. I wouldn't maybe do less than 0.1%. I might do a bit more personally, but I wouldn't do majority of my portfolio in leverage trading. Even if it's, oh, I'm doing 2x, you've got to pay fees for this. Why aren't you just buying spot? Obviously, you know, money, I get it. If you've not got a lot of money and you buy, whatever. But I was not as low as you. But I was not as low as you. I expected candles to bull market support, but I don't know what that is. I don't know where it is right now. Just makes you think how these influencers that had millions in profit didn't take any profit whatsoever, almost like it's a demo account. Yep, absolutely. Especially that guy. That guy, what a con artist. Oh yeah, guys, I'm selling a course for 12 grand. But I don't, I'm a professional, guys. I've just earned $40 million in a month. What the hell? Like, what do you do? Like, does he really think anyone's gonna believe that? But whatever. Paper traders, boys. Since April 11th, 2025, the account has posted 6 times with take profits. So once a month on X. What's this for? Oh, is this for Crypto Warehouse? I assume so. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, as soon as this is regimented. Like, this isn't like seeing. Like, and this is obviously on the weekly. Like, every time we've done this, I'm trying to find other examples at the back. Like, even here, obviously we did tickle past the print here. But look, like, obviously in this case here, we did come down one time and then fill this gap and then come upwards. Obviously, we did have a weekly gap. So there's different, there's different examples. But we didn't really print through this, especially this as well. Obviously, we came through this high and didn't print, found support. This is now the new high. We came upwards, didn't print through the high, and then we dumped. Obviously, we could see support here, we could see support here, whatever. Obviously, other examples we talked about this one. We've produced this high, we found tickle into this little area here, came upwards, didn't print, down. As soon as you see that, or that's as soon as I see it, and that's what I know I keep on going on about it, but this is what I was saying on last week, basically. Literally was last week. If we don't print above this high, which obviously we hadn't, even on the stream we hadn't, we're not going to go upwards. Anyway, I wanted to see. I think I should move into charts now because I've got 38 minutes and I haven't looked at anything. So Bitcoin, obviously, we looked at this. It's gone. I didn't know what Ethereum's gonna be at. Ethereum probably came towards the big gap we had on the weekly. We had an order block on the weekly, and then we had a gap or something, but we probably just come to the order block, whatever. Same with this, realistically. I think Solana's done the same thing. I think Ethereum's done the same thing. Syrup probably comes to the order block as well. Sui, I haven't really looked at, to be fair. I actually don't know what's going on. I haven't really seen what's going on. Crow's probably comes to the order block, so let's see what's going on. So, again here, weekly midpoint order block. Let's go to the 4 hours, see it in a bit more detail. Again, this candle is going to be like a minute or whatever. Yeah, like there's not really going to be a lot I can talk about on the minute chart. So let's just go to like the 1 hour, let's say. Just see it a bit more. So obviously it started and then it ended. I think it was actually 4 o'clock. I remember actually seeing it. It was about 4 o'clock potentially. No, was it? Yeah. I don't know. It must have been. It must have been about 4 o'clock. I don't know. So anyway, 16.5%. I think that's the tamest of them all. I'm not gonna lie. But obviously normal candles down. Obviously massive wick here. And now we're kind of just like hovering a bit. So in terms of what we're going to do, well, I think, and this is what I think I talked about this when we talked about it. Where was it again? There was an example of this. It might have been somewhere previous actually, but obviously this one's going to be important. The example I'm giving anyway. This is a massive candle. I think it was the Monday. It was when we had that massive Monday dump, and we found resistance. I can't remember which one it was. It might have been this. I don't know, actually. Either way, there probably will be something within this move which will kind of keep us down a bit. So in terms of what we're doing, we've obviously come past some of these massive moves. We haven't really printed again. We had a massive move downwards. It was within like 10 minutes, whatever it was. I don't even know how many candles it was. It was like, especially in this rapid area, it was like, yeah, like in terms of the high to the low of the move, about there, let's say, or maybe even there, it was about 10 minutes-ish. So it was 10 minutes. In 10 minutes, let's say from the extremities here, how long did it take and how fast it was? So yeah, there you go. In 15 minutes, we went down 11.5% in Bitcoin. It's crazy. Crazy. So obviously, like I said in Telegram, I'm not going to promise a massive trade. I can't look at this and see what there is going to be. Maybe there's something in here. Obviously, on lower time zones, you can see it. But all I can really talk about right now is the previous price action which led us down this. So what do we have? Well, we had this order block back here. I believe it was order block, actually. Yeah, it was. Which obviously we formed here. I thought it was going to hold. Didn't hold. Came through. We might see resistance there. Obviously, we had all these gaps I was looking at on the daily before we obviously went through all of it. Probably see resistance there. But I think my main takeaway for Bitcoin, I don't really care about what's happened here. It's going to be this candle. Now, the price action, because obviously we've obviously had, you know, crazy price action. We've had, you know, take the high, move, we've printed past this low, and then we obviously came upwards, and then we came downwards. We didn't print up, we didn't print down, and then we come upwards. We didn't really print upwards, and then we come downwards. We didn't print downwards. It's been really like, it's been high to low, then high, and then we've kind of done stuff here, and then we didn't come down here. We also didn't come past this in this move. We had this little area, and then we come up and then come down. It's just been absolutely crazy. But what I will say, this reminds me of what we have with order blocks. Well, you have this down move, and you don't really take a high or take a low, and you kind of have this like floating area where you don't have the high, you don't have the high, you don't have the low, and it's kind of this area here. And then you take both sides of it, and that will form either support or resistance. So in theory, we might see something there. Okay, well, this is actually a bit better. You can kind of see it here, where we have these moves up here, and we have this move downwards, and then we have the pump upwards above it. So in theory, it should be obviously support, but obviously in this case, we've just come past the all-time high and wicked past it and didn't print. So clearly, we're not really going to be doing too well in terms of support anyway. And then we have this area here, which then gets formed as a resistance in theory. In theory, obviously, in theory, not financial advice. So I'm actually gonna draw. I'm just gonna draw a low here, just to see where it is on a grandiose scale. So that low's about there, and then the high's about there. Actually, what'll be easier for me to do if I do this, and then just have where the equilibrium is going to be of all this stuff. So this is obviously the resistance in theory. So you obviously have the high, the low. Obviously we've moved upwards, moved downwards. Haven't quite printed past it, but obviously we could probably maybe still use it as resistance. Am I looking to see us go back up towards all-time highs? I don't think so. I don't think so. So I think it's going to be easier. Obviously, bearing in mind we've had this massive dump and whatnot, and it's going to be at least something in this move. It's going to be at least something. And what's nice about this move, I think, in comparison, is the fact that we were already starting a downtrend. So it wasn't like we were already in an uptrend and we just had one massive candle downwards, where it makes it very hard for me to draw retracements. Makes it very hard for me to draw and look at price action, because we had normal move upwards and then a very, very nice reversal. Very nice reversal there. Obviously, failed to print past this high. Obviously, we're at all-time highs and we're failing to print. With this massive dump past these lows, clear as day. Okay, failed to print past the low. Okay, cool. We formed the order block in that move. Clearly, if we wait for a retracement up to there, great. That's you know, that's normal. So from there, we can then use that high as the retracement. So obviously, we know that we can use this and look at it us coming in. Let me go to daily. I can't really do the daily actually. I'll stick to the 4 hour. But we know somewhere within this whole move, we're gonna see those retrace. And above this area, so again, I don't really care about this. I care about this. All of this, we should potentially see resistance. And I will bet anything that we're gonna see something. I'll be very surprised if we do this and come right past all this move. That would be, hey, you know, I could be wrong. It could happen, but I'd be very, very surprised if we just go, oh yeah, here we go, all the way back to 125k. No chance. And again, I've been wanting us, you know, in terms of weekly stuff going on here. We didn't quite have it with here. We had that low. We have the high, but again, we've printed past it. It's been teasing us so hard. You know, we came up, failed to print. We did find support though, didn't we? We came up, failed to print. We did find support though, haven't we? But we're gonna slowly hit through this, and I've wanted us to come to here again. I was talking about it 2 or 3 streams ago. We came to the top of it. We're gonna come up. We obviously came upwards. We did actually find support there. My next aim on the long term is going to be coming towards the mid of it, and eventually we're going to try and reverse this. In the aim of getting towards actual support points. Because again, obviously looking for these massive retracements, looking towards finding our major high or low, we're going to want to find it. Because again, we didn't come back to that equilibrium there. We didn't come back here. We haven't come back here yet. But we're getting close. And again, very deep into this is going to be this 90k, 93k area. I would like to see this. Again, coming past this low. We actually already have it drawn. I can actually draw this a bit higher now, because obviously we've tickled past the high there. Regardless, we have this low. Obviously, 98 is going to be interesting, I guess, taking that low. Obviously, the low of this order block. But again, once we print through that midpoint, we kind of print through it. We'll probably see some resistance in here, continue downwards. I do want to see us come here. I want to see us come here. We have a really nice... We have these lows here in this gap as well. So we have these lows, and then we have that little gap area here, which obviously we came to fill in this area. So these two down close, massive print upwards. This is going to be support for sure. We have the massive gap, the first gap which gets printed above this high. This is going to be a very nice area for support. It's perfect, and I want us to go there, and I really want us to go there. I really want us to go there. I think it'd be great. So could this be a catalyst? Obviously, we'll see how it prints, but the only way I can tell if this is going to be a catalyst or not is really going to be some lower time frame, because again, looking at the weekly here, it's not really going to give us too much information. But daily, it's this massive area. We're gonna have stuff. And obviously, we've looked at the retracement. This entire move is going to be above equilibrium, so we're going to find resistance in these areas. Obviously, we've probably reversed some things on the way down, so obviously some inverted areas back here. Obviously, we had this high, low, or this high which gets printed through. Obviously, in theory, was support. Obviously, in this case, we had this massive dump, so again, it wasn't really going to be used as support because we just came past the all-time high. But anyway, we might see resistance in there, so that also might leave us 116k. Will we come up to there? We'll see how it goes. Obviously, we need to even see if we come past 113k. So again, we've got some steps to go through here. I will not lie. I think we might have something back here. Again, we had this down move and then massive print here, as you can see. And then we kind of retraced back into it and then came upwards. And we can see we've been printing at this area here. So let me go to the daily here and see if there's anything. So this is us coming down past. So we kind of came up, retraced, massive dump, and then wicking down here, and then having a pump upwards here. So we might have this candle here if we draw this out, obviously from the candle body, let's say, from there. Obviously, we are on a bit of a high time frame here. I want to get rid of that high. We can actually see this a bit better. And this is very messy. I do apologize. So you can see we're holding on to this midpoint here, printing at it a bit much. So we might have some sort of support. So I'm not surprised we're kind of seeing a bit of support here. I would like to see us tickle upwards a bit more. I want to see us retrace a tiny bit more into these areas. Do I think we're going to go any higher? No. I feel myself saying the same thing over and over again, because obviously it's very hard to ignore this. So I will move on. Okay, we'll see how it goes. Again, I'll be back on Monday anyway, so it's only gonna be 2 days. So I would want us to come upwards anyway towards some of this anyway. So we'll see how it goes. I'm speaking in circles here. Let's just go to Ethereum and see how it's going. Anyway, so what did we want for Ethereum last week? I think we were talking about us. Oh no. It's Thursday. I think we were talking about us coming towards, back towards this weekly order block. It was Thursday time. We had this little retracement. I don't know what this is. So we had this massive move again. Obviously, this is us failing to print past this high and then printing past this low in this candle on Tuesday. Obviously, Wednesday retracing back up into it. I think I remember talking about this actually on Ethereum in terms of candle by candle basis. I remember near the end of the Thursday stream, obviously talking about the idea that we have this order block here, move upwards, print through, came past these highs to be fair as well. We also had this 4-hour order block, but obviously this is us coming into this order block and using it. Very messy. I'm gonna delete some of this stuff actually. What can I delete? I'm gonna delete. What is this? I'm gonna delete this. I don't know what it is. Okay, so this is obviously we had that breakup, but I don't really care though. But the idea that we had this move upwards and then we printed through it here, and then we have it being used here, and then obviously the idea that we retrace a tiny bit into this candle from this bottom area of it, and then in the next candle we should come past that low. Obviously we did eventually do that, coming towards this support point, and I think we were actually sitting at this support point anyway. Obviously this we kind of had a gap and we had this gap and. I don't know what I have the... Oh yeah, this is the start of the gap. So we had that gap here. We kind of came upwards, obviously, then started this massive dump we had across the board, coming down towards the weekly order block here. So this weekly order block sits at the top to the bottom of this, I think. Anyway, yeah, here we go. So this was the gap here. Obviously, we have come real deep into this, and I think for me this was obviously a very interesting area because we did have this gap where obviously we came from, but I did expect at least this area to hold. Obviously, around about the midpoint, 3,600 I think was one of the common numbers I remember saying quite often when we were looking at this area. About 3,650, 3,600 was the area. I was like, okay, this could be a good area to look at. 3,600. We had old order block daily area here. You can see we're kind of there, not really. What else do we have daily? Let's go back to the daily here. Obviously had this low. We had the rest of this gap here, obviously starting from the order block. Oh yeah, we had this daily order block as well, which obviously is basically the same as the weekly order block because it spans the entire candle, but obviously it's basically just the same. It's basically just the same area, to be fair. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah. So obviously we had this small order block form, or basically a proportional block, because obviously we had this move downwards, we had this gap which gets printed through, obviously coming from the weekly gap which we had around about here, which obviously we came to fill a bit, which I think we formed in between somewhere some of these candles, or something like this. We came down into it here with this obviously allowing us to reverse this gap here. You can see really nicely printing above this area, which then allows us to print, then it confirms to us that we've inverted it. So you can see then once we invert it, we came down to retrace into it quite nicely, and then this is a down close candle which gets ripped through basically. So this is going to be a in theory a support point. Obviously, you know, we did rip pretty hard, but you can see we came quite close. We haven't quite tickled onto it yet, but I think we did have some daily gap, which obviously we have filled now. So looks like we've filled that. Obviously we've filled that and then some with this move. I do want to see the actual top to bottom move. About 23% for Ethereum, which is kind of crazy. So what we're doing now for Ethereum, because again I do not really want to look at this major move, so I think it's the thing where it's like I can be happy that I assumed a movement. I don't think I can be happy on the number itself, because obviously, you know, it's I don't think I remember saying 3,400 last stream. I don't think I remember saying that. But obviously we can still look at what formed from this move. So again, we had this we had the order block, which is now breaker block, which obviously we've flipped again. We did use it as resistance twice time here. Obviously still going to use it as resistance continuously as we are here. So we have this massive gap. We have resistance here. Pretty good. Pretty good magic there. We have this move upwards. We had this massive dump. We printed through this low here. We retraced into this gap, which kind of this displacement of these consecutive down close candles, printing through that low, which then allows this to be quite a good move through. Obviously, we came to the higher end of this 4-hour order block here, which is these two candles upwards, taking this high, printing through here. So we see I've already talked about this last stream, but I'm reiterating it. We came to that top end really nicely. Makes sense that we reverse here, coming downwards, obviously printing through, gap here, dump. So obviously this is now the new lower high here. So this obviously from the highest low, 25%. That equilibrium sits 3,973. You know, well enough, easily getting to 4,000. I think 4,000 could be a good area to try get up into. The sensitivity of this, I don't fully know how deep of a sensitivity we're going to have with this. It's hard to say there's a support point in significance because we have this massive wick here just in the way. I can go to the 15-minute, maybe see something, maybe. To be fair, we do have this candle here. We have the candle body. I think sometimes you draw the candle body, sometimes you don't. I don't know. I mean, I just draw the top of it because it's just what I'm used to. So we do have something there, I suppose, where you can see, you know, we kind of came into it, came upwards, failing, tickle onto it. We have all these highs, and we clearly, potentially, maybe, I don't know. We'll see how it goes, I suppose. But we do have something if we look at it on the 50-minute in a bit more detail. But I'm not really happy about looking at that because it's just, it was spawned upon by an illicit. That's not the word. By an illegal play. This is in my chess playbook of charts, an illegal play. Anyway, so we're coming down. Obviously, in this individual candle on the 1 hour, I do think we retrace. I think we're going to need that retracement because, again, all we've done, we've had a massive move down and then we've kind of consolidated a bit. You can see, especially here, really, really nice consolidation. I think this could be a manipulation candle. Again, I'm not very good at finding power frees. As people say, power frees. I'm not very good at them. I'm trying to get better, obviously. But I don't know I don't know the right criteria. Someone in the chat might be better than me looking at them. I don't know the exact criteria, which is really good for finding high value power freeze, or the idea that you have the very tight consolidation with really big wicks and not really big bodies, and then you have a massive candle which moves downwards, and the idea is anyway, obviously, you know, trying to make sure it works, is you reverse this and then it allows for a move in the opposite direction. So we'll see how that goes. Obviously, on that basis anyway, in theory, I'm not saying it will happen at all. I would expect a decent retracement. I don't think it's to highs. I don't think we're going to get anywhere near we came from. I don't think it's going to be that easy for us to do this. I don't think so. No. Obviously, every long and its grandma got liquidated. Okay? Everyone and their grandma's going to be short now. So we might have a retracement. Get rid of some of these lot. We're going, oh my god, I just lost every single dollar I've ever owned. I'm going to see if I can scrape together and short, because obviously the market's going down now. It's over. Bull market's over, guys. And then obviously it retraces. I would like to see retracement. I I would, I mean, again, it could be a cope thing. It could be like, oh yeah, I want it to retrace, and then every other person wants, oh yeah, I want it to retrace as well because I'm really lost. I want it to retrace because I want some sort of saving grace, and then it dumps again. So you know what I'm saying? It's a bit of a paradox for an ideology there. But I'm just gonna say I'd rather see a retracement, obviously about 4,000 mark, starting onto this massive resistance point, massive daily candle, just massive resistance. Probably gonna be in this candle. Probably come into an area for a good sell area. Obviously equilibrium being about 4k as well. I want to see it come into that area. So obviously we'll see how that goes. How we finish this area. Obviously we've definitely come down, came upwards. We've definitely slowed down a bit. We had this order block which we've barely even touched, and the stopping point of this gap, maybe potentially, or the stop point, I don't know. Okay, so the stop, yeah, so we had so basically I just marked out the high and the low of it, but again, it doesn't really matter with this move. But yeah, this was the order block here, which we've not really touched onto yet. And then we had the daily order block, which we can see is this whole area, which obviously has now just disappeared from my screen. So we'll see how it goes. I do want to see a retracement to 4,000. I think that's the general idea I want to see for across the board, because again, you know, it's treacherous times. Treacherous times. Anyway, so Solana, again, another coin I want us to come down to. I think I wanted us to... What did I want us to do? I think... what did I want us to do? It must have been a retracement I wanted us to do. Oh, no. No, we already did this. We already did this move. Yeah, this was marking out this move. Yeah, this makes sense. This is actually perfect. Of all the charts, this is actually really perfect in terms of what I've talked about. Because obviously... I've already talked about midpoint order block for Bitcoin. I've already talked about the weekly order block for Ethereum. However, going just based off last stream, which was daily targets, 116k, I think Ethereum... I think I talked about maybe a slight retracement again and then moved down. I can't remember exactly what I said. But in terms of actual last stream targets, Solana was still down anyway. So, so Thursday was about here. We had the breaker block here. We were above equilibrium. We filled this gap. We were at breaker block. Perfect. Gap plus breaker block. I think I remember talking about us. You know, we filled this area. We had the gap. I wanted us to come downwards. Because again, I think I remember reiterating quite often, or reiterating quite a lot last stream for Solana being, oh yeah, well, we have a breaker block here. And we have a gap. You know, normally you want to see a gap have some sort of overlapping resistance point, which gives it a higher probability. Because again, charts and technical analysis and whatever, it's just the game of checklists, or the game of overlapping, or the game of confluence, or the game of whatever you want to say. It's the idea, or in theory, obviously, if you have one line which is a magical line and that's it, and it works, fine. Maybe I'm the idiot, but obviously the idea that, okay, well, you have a gap here, which obviously might have some, you know, something to come into. We have a resistance here, obviously in this case a breaker block. We might want to see resistance in this overlapping area here, which obviously in this case was pretty good. Obviously then started to have retracement, obviously hindsight, XYZ. But again, from this, it was, okay, we've done that lower high. Obviously on the idea, we wanted to see a lower high. We had this move. On the 4 hour, we had the reversal. Again, we had the high, we had that low, really tight low. Failed to print. Again, what have we been talking about on the weekly for Bitcoin, on the daily for Bitcoin, on the daily for Solana, on Ethereum on the weekly? If we're coming past that high with a wick and we don't print, that is a very bad sign. In my opinion, very bad sign. And again, we did that. Obviously, we filled the 4 hour gap here. We retraced. We had that really nice reversal on the 4 hour. We had the inverted daily gap here, which we retraced back into on the 4 hour. We had a 4 hour gap as well. We came down, obviously flipping the order block, again, coming from the highs here. Reversing, obviously having a massive dump. I think I remember looking at this idea, which was obviously we had the weekly gap here. Again, a fail to print. Again, what have we been looking at on the Bitcoin on the weekly? We have a high. We fail to print. We come down. In theory, obviously on the and it's not night or day. You know, it's not like an art of, oh yeah, well, you know, what about these candles back here? Well, you know, this one didn't print through this high. Well, why don't we reverse here, or this one? You know what I mean? Well, I think it makes it a lot easier when you're at an area which makes sense to stop at. So again, Bitcoin being at all-time highs, Solana being at the gap, also the top end of the high resistance area, which is this, or the high probability area. Obviously Ethereum, I don't know if Ethereum had anything. Ethereum just didn't even print a high. It didn't even get anywhere near it, so obviously that also helps, I guess. But obviously going back to the actual charts, so Solana obviously had the gap here, failed to print, wick past it, down close candle, boom, prints through the gap really nicely, retracing to fill the gap. Obviously on the lower time frames does this, comes down. I remember talking about this on Solana as well, where we have the gap, and candle by candle basis, not on the general multi-move, but candle by candles. Gap formed, wicked past, down close, resistance on pretty much every time frame, retrace, a really perfect print through this gap here with this candle, retrace to fill it pretty perfectly, obviously finding the wick resistance on the lower time frames, which makes sense. Again, if I look at the weekly here, again, I do want to pay attention to wicks. Wicks are something to pay attention to, but the moves are really, I really mostly look at the candle bodies, you know what I mean? So these wicks are going to make sense when you look at them on lower time frames. So for example, on the 4 hour, we saw that 4 hour resistance, and we see that printing at resistance on the 4 hour, but on the weekly, it's just wicks upwards. But obviously, as we see, we print it really nicely, top end of this gap, massive dump. Again, same thing, retracement, lower high, we want to aim for that low. It's pretty perfect. It's pretty perfect. So anyway, going on to some new TA now. So Solana, I'm actually not worried. And again, this is the thing. And this is what I was saying on Bitcoin. Bitcoin, I'm happy we were already retracing. Ethereum, we failed to print a new high, so we're in a downtrend. Bitcoin, we're in a downtrend. Solana, we're in a downtrend. Again, Solana, perfect downtrend. Nice move upwards. We had that high, low, high, reversal, lower high, boom, printing past the low. We're going to have a lower high, we're going to have a lower low. It's downtrend. We are in a weekly order block. And again, I have made this mistake before, not paying attention to not paying attention to supports, but it would make sense. Again, this is the weekly support. Let's say the midpoint's around about there ish, maybe about here. We've come to about that midpoint, so what makes sense, we stop it here on the weekly, and again, we've got a day and a bit to print this. Easy. We print here, we retrace probably up towards 204 to fulfill the candle. I don't know if this is something people do, and obviously if someone who's a professional out there, obviously, and there are some professionals in the chat, obviously KB the professional as well, who know if this is something to talk about, which makes sense. The idea of fulfilling candle, and this is a very, I think, and this is right, okay, this isn't, I don't think this is something I've made up, but I think which makes sense in the idea that, yes, okay, you can print gaps, but what's the most likely thing, which happens a lot when you have these big candles, is you have these moves which come back into these candles, and this is not about the consecutive candles. I normally look at the singular candle. So let's say, I don't know, this candle. We have quite a nice move upwards. And the next candle, yes, we did print upwards, but we did have that retracement to, maybe not to the exact T, but to fulfill it, obviously on the wick. So in terms of the idea that the next candle's open, or the next candle's high, or in this case the high, is going to be probably, if we are continuing this downtrend, which I think we're going to do, open high, low, close. We open negative, let's say, or we open here, the high, the low, the close. You know what I mean? Or I should probably open, open high, low, close. You know what I mean? So that's the anatomy of a down close candle. So in the idea that we have the open round about here, and the idea that we're going to want to retrace into, maybe not exactly to 204, but into this candle. And it's what I was talking about back here with this candle, But anyway, I'm yapping. Let's just go back to here. So daily retracement, where are we going to see? Let's see. Where are we going to see? So equilibrium's about above 0.5. I expect us to find some sort of breaker block as well in previous price action. Optimum is actually at the tip of this gap at 216. We do have this inverted gap here, which we did. You can see we kind of came into it and then printed through it, just printed through it. So we could probably see that as well. What I'm looking at though is to see if we have anything in the previous moves we have here. So what I'm kind of looking for is to see if we have like an order block of something or of some sorts. So we potentially have maybe something here, I suppose, and we have a little wick past this. Maybe on the lower time frames we might see it a bit better. In terms of we had that down move and then a print through on the, where's it gone? There it is. In terms of we had this candle, we had this low which gets wick past and then we print through it. We might see something here. Obviously in this case we didn't have this massive print. What I want to see actually, I want to see on the lower time frames, did we actually use this in any regard? No, because it opened at 4. Okay, so we printed right through it. So in terms of that being a strong support point, I don't know personally because I haven't actually seen it being used. So I'm not gonna gamble on that. I want to see something a bit stronger. That's not really a super strong order block in my opinion. So what else can we see? What else can I say? Again, we want to look at the down close candle. If we're looking for a breaker block in this case, I want to look for that down close candle with the consecutive. So in this case, we can see a down close here, so we didn't really form one in this candle. This one would have been good. We had some lows back here. We could maybe see proportion block, to be fair, or maybe something obviously above here. So we can maybe see something in previous price action back here. So for example, this candle. Let me draw the. midpoint. I want to see if we kind of have something here. So on the example that we have this down close, and then we print through it, and then we retrace back towards that midpoint, and then obviously we didn't use it one more time, to be fair, and then we came upwards. So in terms of us coming back into it to potentially find support and then come upwards, this could mean this candle could also be a propulsion block of sorts. As we did obviously print through it, and you can see if we kind of draw this, we kind of came upwards, retrace back into it. Not exactly though, but we do have something here at least we can look at. So that could mean, again, we've printed through it easily, so retracement back up into it. Top end of that at least is about 214 as well. So I could expect at least a retracement towards above 203. We do have some sort of resistances as well, sitting behind us as well. 213, midpoint was a bit lower, to be fair. What is this? Oh, right. This is the old support. Right, okay. I don't care. Actually, yeah, there might be something on the weekly, actually. I don't realize. I'm trying to see. 905, not really. I don't really see much here. I mean, it might be this candle, I suppose, 204. But as soon as we get above 203, obviously, I'm watching for that. And this whole candle to be recovered would be very, very important there as well. I mean, could we get as high as 215? It'd be great if we could. Again, we have a lot backing us up there. Again, we had this gap here. You can see we tickled into it, printed through it. We did have a tiny retracement, but we do have that overlapping on top of this gap as well. So 210 might be very interesting as well. But anything above 203, like I said, just to really reiterate the final point of that, anything above 210 would be a pretty good target, I would think, to see if we could find some sort of resistance tap. So I do expect retracement for Solana as well, but I think we're continuing this downtrend. So in terms of to continue this then, we did have this order block at 165. We didn't really quite get to. We're still kind of coming down a tiny bit. Hey, we could stop. We might not stop here. We could continue now, as that is more than valid. I just think it's just offsetting the inevitable of us retracing into this massive candle here. So obviously we'll see how it goes. But I do think this obviously is the start of a downtrend. And this thing, it's like, oh yeah, well, there's a lot of people who are like, and you see this across the board. Everyone has. It's like when you do that the test of like, okay, how many jelly beans are in this jar, or how many coins are in this jar, and then there'll be people who say 1,000, and people who say 10, who are the idiots. But it's a bell curves on natural occurrences of things, and when people aren't idiots, like the people who are idiots, or it's either obviously in the bell curve. You could use, intelligence, for example. So the rightmost part of the bell curve is going to be intelligence. But in terms of, let's say, counting coins in a jar, the rightmost people and the leftmost people are going to be morons. Oh, there's 1 million coins in this jar. No, there's not 1 million coins. But overall, you're going to get to that midpoint. And you're going to see, based on no scientific research by anybody or any counting of sorts, the average will probably be very close to the actual amount. I don't know what I don't know what this test is called, but I've seen this exists in science. So obviously in this case, talking about sentiment of crypto, let's say, you're going to get the people on the far left. Like, no matter what happens, Bitcoin could be. I don't even know what the example could be. It could be it could have consecutively had a year of going up. I don't know. Okay, I'm trying to think of a big example. I can't really think of one. And they will constantly think it'll go down. And those are the bear copers, and obviously the bull copers. No matter what Bitcoin does, oh, this is just a reach. This is just a shakeout. We're gonna go back up as 180k. Here we come. This doesn't matter, guys. This is just a temporary. Doesn't matter that everybody has lost, and there's $16.8 billion of liquidations of longs. It doesn't matter, guys. It's a quick shakeout. You all got paper hands, guys. I've got a diamond hand over here. Yeah, I did put 1.5x leverage on 125k long, and I didn't quite get stopped out. Yeah, okay, mate. And obviously you'll get most people in the middle. I don't know where I was going with this. Yeah, here it was. Okay, I think I was going with... I've lost my train of thought now. I think I was going with the idea that we can still have a bit of a downtrend even though we're coming towards the middle of October time, and we should be pumping McPumpers over here. Oh, here we come to 160k. When, we've had a nice old uptrend up here. Massive print, massive expansion. Slow retrace, but massive expansion downwards. It's like, you know what I mean? I can't not say what I see on my chart. And if I wasn't to say what I see on my chart and go, oh, guys, but it's October, I would have wanted to long at 125k. And this is the problem. I looked at Bitcoin last stream, and again, yes, I didn't say 103. I was talking about 116. Okay, I was looking at the daily. All right, let me live. All right. But if I was the person who was like, But middle of October is when we pump. This is Pumptober, guys. Come on, we pump now. This is the start of the bull trend. Come on, this is 140k. I would have wanted to long at 125k or 124k, whatever the next high was, and it would have been horrible for everybody who was watching if I was somebody who said stuff like that. So I just say what's on my chart, and if it's wrong, it's wrong. If it's right, it's right, and that's it. And what I can see here is the clearest start of a down move. Now, what I will say is Bitcoin had something like this, and then we went upwards, and then we've come downwards again, okay? So we did have a bit of a move upwards before it moved downwards, but you can't deny when you look at what is a downtrend, and you see a move upwards, and you see a move down, and you see a lower move upwards, and you see a lower move downwards, okay? You know, we have, obviously, yes, okay, we moved up, well, on the individual scale on the daily, which is what I was looking at, we have the move upwards, move down, move upwards, move down, and then we kind of came upwards, and then we had to move downwards, and then we kind of had this little hoverage, and then we just continue to move downwards. So on a whole, if you average this out, it's basically upwards, down, up, or down. So it's the downtrend, okay? We've had the high, we've had the low, complete failed to print at the high, massive resistance, filled the gap, break a block, boom, lower high, bang, printing past the low, here we are, we're at the low here. Retrace. We're going to have a nice retracement towards this massive gap here. Assumedly finding some sort of resistance before potentially going back down again. So what am I long term for Solana before I move quickly onto Syrup? And I'll do Syrup and XRP. I'll quickly glance at CRO because again I've got 4 minutes and I always talk so long and I'm always talking and I talk for so long and it's just words. Anyway, so what do we have? Well, we do have obviously previous areas back here. I have this marked out. I don't know why. Oh yeah, it might be something. Oh yeah, so basically this was the longer term. This is the longer term down move. So again, we had that move past this lows, and then we had the move upwards, printing past this high, retrace. This is a perfect order block. This is now here. This high is now a propulsion block. High, move, down, close. And this thing, you can do it from the candle bodies, and then it would go from this candle, and you do this high here. So that's why I have that on that high. But propulsion block in this area, boom. Down move, massive print, propulsion block. And obviously we are here. So we're eventually going to kind of sit through these. And you can see the midpoint, we're still hovering on that midpoint here. So I do expect that retracement. I do expect we'll move downwards. But where's the low going to be for Solana? Where's the low going to be for Solana? Well, my unfortunate look, okay, if we really look at what we've been doing, you know what I mean? Like, we have the high, we have a low here, we have the main high up here, we have the failed print, boom, down again, time and time again, okay? We have a high, we wick past it, we don't print, we come down. There you go. Anyway, so we come down, came past this low. So we've technically printed past this low. We've had a really, it's not been, okay, this was an expansion. Okay, this is an expansion. This was quite expansionary, to be fair. This is an expansion. This is retracement. You know, this is clear retracement. This is expansion. This is kind of clear of retracement. Obviously, we had a very small move before we moved downwards. This is an expansion. This is a retracement. You know, this isn't really a rapid move. It's got a good incline, but it's not really a rapid move. This is a retracement. This is the start. Look at the candle. This is the start of expansion. And again, I know this is news and all this sort of stuff, and no one expected this. XYZ. This is news. Whatever. Okay. The idea that we have the low, we have the print through, we have a slow move upwards, we have the lower high, we have the move down. Now, I'm not saying we go to 95. Okay. I'm not saying we do that, but we're gonna need to print that. If we don't do this, we're gonna need to print that low. Or we're going to need to stop moving and then go upwards past this high again. But obviously, you know, we need to print. The main thing is for this is we're going to need to come past that. We're going to need to come past this high to get out of this if we do. But obviously, the start of this move downwards, getting past this low and starting to move downwards, in theory, is really not great for us. So what I will say about this is I don't know if I want to. I don't know if in my heart I want to target $95 for Solana. Could it be a good low? Potentially. Could we see 46? Yeah. Yeah, easily. I mean, we're 177 right now. I mean, we've come down pretty far. I mean, Slar's move, what's it been? 30%. It's been a pretty good move. I guess we can say it. But we'll get there when we get there. Obviously, I do think we are coming downwards. And I've already given my what I think is going to happen now for Solana. We're going to do that low. Whether it be here or a bit lower, maybe towards this order block we have here. Regardless if we've printed past this low, that's all I care about. We're going to have that lower high. All I care about. We're going to have a lower low. That's all I care about. So what I would say for Solana is it probably want to look for a bit of retracement. Syrup. Okay, so yeah, this is okay. This might look like, oh, look at me, guys. I want it to go upwards. This was this. Okay, this was this. All right, this was this because. Oh no! Oh whoa! Okay, that is. Ooh. Okay, yeah. Syrup is not anywhere near I wanted to look at. No way. Okay, I don't even have data for that. Yeah, okay, I don't even have data for that. This is the thing. It's like, oh yeah, certain. This is the problem when I look at certain coins on stream. It's like. I want to do on TradingView. Okay, this is where I have my colors. This is where I have lines. This is where I have everything. Okay, and then sometimes you just don't find, and this might be my fault. I don't. Oh no, wait, hold on. We did this, didn't we? On a different chart. Oh, I forgot about this. Did I wait? Where did I draw it? Jesus, what the hell? This is old, yeah, I guess. Let's go, Mexi. I think I remember doing this, actually. Okay, so this is a bit more... this is a bit more... Okay, I remember doing this. I remember... Do I not have it drawn? Oh, what am I on Ethereum for? Did I not do this? Am I losing my mind? I think I'm losing my mind. Okay, well, I don't really want to spend the time doing this again. I swear to God I did this. Am I crazy? I swear I went, oh wait, I'm on Binance. I need to go to another chart so I can see more price action. Otherwise, I'm going to have absolutely no idea what's going on because I actually can't see the price action. I swear I looked at this. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm crazy. Let's see. Ultimately, yeah, I swear to God I remember looking at this. And we have a breaker block here. It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. It's perfect. Look at this. It's absolutely beautiful. Look, we have a candle. We have a candle here. Take the high, boom, print through, retrace resistance, flip, print through, use it as support in this candle, boom, off you go. Gap area, order block, or gap here. I swear I talked about this. Am I crazy? Maybe I'm crazy. But I mean, again, look, boom, move upwards, slow move downwards. We're going to find that support. We're going to move upwards. So at least 26 cent. Here we come. No biggie. We basically got there anyway. 27.7, 26. Here we go. 26. Here we come. Yeah. So gap here, massive move downwards. Gap, retrace gap, boom, dump. We're gonna probably have something here. We have lows here. We have a move upwards. We have a retrace into it. So you can see we print past this candle, retrace into it. So we do have something on this candle, I will say, which is the top of this order block. So I could expect a bit higher maybe for Maple. If we go from the recent high to recent low, we're just about above equilibrium here. Perfect area is going to be that down close to up, which takes this high of this candle. So comes through this candle, retraces to find support in it in this area, retraces and then pumps. And obviously, we actually didn't use it here, but we do have it here. So the bottom, it could be the whole range, to be fair, now I'm looking at it, but it's probably not. We did have gaps here, though, which obviously we used that gap there, and then we use this gap here. But anyway, we then inverted this gap and then used it here. Obviously, we then had a balanced price range within these two gaps here. As you can see, within this range here, tickled into it. Absolute dump here. This is the start of the massive dump. Slight retracement, slight move down. I think this might be a bit of a longer retracement than just that. Obviously, you can see we're kind of moving upwards right now. Obviously, we did have a bit of a move down for this candle here. We do have some big wicks here, actually, which actually remove all these big old moves. We do. Oh wow, that is interesting. That is really interesting. Look at that. Balanced price range. Boom. Move upwards. Boom. Fill this gap. Move downwards. Midpoint. That's really crazy. Anyway, that's the 4 hour here. I would expect a bit more of a retracement. I want to see it come upwards. I want to see it come a bit deeper into this. I would expect it to come a bit deeper. We do have the bottom of that resistance there. We do have it in the optimum area. I want to see what's back here, actually. Let's go to the daily here. We might have something behind us. Oh, yeah, we do have something behind us. I'm stupid. This is the whole thing I had the entire time. This is the order block. This was this order block, I think. Which, yeah, we had we have drawn out on the other chart, which I'm going to quickly draw here just so we can see it. I will move on quickly. Okay, yeah, this is the order block. Boom, boom. Oh yeah, midpoint, fail, printing on that high. This is what I'm talking about with Ethereum as well, on the idea that we can come to that midpoint, print below it, find the high as resistance, and then come down. As soon as you print below that low and find resistance, and I think there's a difference. There's a difference between printing, hitting a high and coming upwards, and then this, you know. So obviously in this, and again, there's convenience. I think there's something back here on the 4 hour. We had this high here, I suppose. There might not have been. I mean, we hit the high of the order block, whatever. Okay, magic. I don't care. Came down. So we can use that. We can use that low as something which makes sense. Perfect. We can use that low. Great. So we have something there, at least. It sits at least about 35. So I do expect a retracement. As soon as we get above 35.2, that is the start of the major resistance areas. This is obviously midpoint of this gap. I want to see a bit higher towards that area, but again, we might not see that. But at least 35% I could expect it. But I would like to see it come a bit closer towards the main area we have on the weekly here, which I swear I remember looking at. We have the breaker block here. We have the gap area, which comes a bit lower. So we have breaker block plus this gap here, midpoint of this, really perfect. 21.5 maybe for syrup, so let's see how it goes. Last thing I want to do is, oh yeah, I'm supposed to look at XRP. Oh crap. I'll glance at CRO. Ooh. Yeesh. Okay, so what we were looking at, all right, before it all went, you know, bottoms up, was order block gap 17.5 cents. Okay, so that's not been used. You know, makes sense. We've had the gap. We've retraced into the gap a bit. We've actually not really used it at all, actually. Obviously, we have the main 4 hour gap. We now have this order block. It's going to be a breaker block now, most likely. It might not be. We might see resistance. We might not. We have this gap here. We can see we kind of used it, came through, printed through. So we have this red line 17.9 here. That'll probably be resistance as well. That 17.9 sits exactly at the gap start as well here. You can see we kind of come down and then we kind of hover a bit. I want to see where we have the retracements from. So we have the high to low, retrace there. So we have this high to this low. We didn't retrace there, so we can continue. We can continue back downwards. Jesus, do I even want to draw this? Does that make sense? Do I do that or do I do this? This is the thing. I don't know if I'm supposed to draw this for the equilibrium. I don't want to use the equilibrium here. We're probably going to retrace into this gap. Resistance, whatever. Let's go XRP. XRP, so what do we want to do? We wanted to compass these equal lows on the weekly, which obviously we more than did. We had this massive gap on the weekly I wanted to fill, which we did, and then some. We've come past these lows, or we tickled into this gap here. Real nice there. $1.27, tickled into that little gap there, I suppose. Came back upwards. Obviously, again, this is the same thing I was saying with Solana here. I want to see where we print at. I reckon we'll probably print within this gap. And what I was saying was, we had this high, we had this low, and then the difference was with this, we had a nice print. You know, we did actually print through this, and we formed gaps. We actually expanded upwards, you know, displaced above all these, and actually found a high, and they've had a slow retracement. So this is actually a good move, in my opinion. So then we had this gap area. So the idea was we have the high to the low. We want to aim somewhere in here to find the low, obviously, I suppose. And then obviously we want to find that and then come upwards. So is this, the question is, before I end the stream, for XRP, is this a catalyst, and pretty much the market as a whole, is this a catalyst for it's over, here we come to, you know, $1 for XRP, or is it something we can write off? I don't want to say it's a fluke. I don't want to write it off, okay? But we can at least, for what I can say is certain, because again, how the market tends to this is its own way, but I do think we can still use what's happened during this move as valid price action. So what I would want to say is, oh, well, we'll probably print here on the weekly. You know, we've had the, if we look at the prints and whatnot, you know, we've come upwards and come downwards. We might come upwards, but realistically, I mean, technically, and this is the thing, this is the important thing, we haven't print past any of these lows. We've wicked past it. We've not printed, so it's not that bad. And this is obviously the weekly, to be fair. Even the daily, any time frame apart on the 50-minute, we haven't actually printed past these lows, especially on the XRP. And the difference between XRP and everything else I've covered, Solana's in a downtrend, Ethereum's in a downtrend, Bitcoin's in a downtrend, Syrup's in a downtrend, Sui's already started a downtrend, Crow's in a downtrend, but XRP, massive pump, slow retracement, hitting into the gap here, massive pump, print past the high, retracement. So actually, we're already in an uptrend. So as long as we're not printing past major lows, in these areas, we're actually okay. And again, we haven't done that. We've wicked past it, and then we've come upwards. So could we print here? Could we come upwards? I don't want to go against what the market would do, which is, in theory, if everyone's going down, I don't want to say XRP can't go down, but at the same time, it's like, okay, well, technically we haven't printed past any lows. Technically, we're still in this range. We could start to want to go upwards. But again, if the market starts to go downwards, I really wouldn't be surprised if XRP did that as well. So I know what I've just said then is it could go upwards, could go down. I do apologize. I know that is not very useful words, but it is my words, okay? That is what you're going to get. So we'll see how it goes. I want to see if we can print above 233 here. 233.79 actually at the low of this. We have the order block plus gap. And again, remember, the magic duo, okay? Order block plus or some sort of support plus gap. In theory, obviously, again, I say this while this massive wick to $1.27 is on my screen, okay? I can't deny that. But yeah, obviously, we'll see how it goes. I suppose on the monthly, it ain't that... Oh. Maybe on the monthly, it's not great. Again, and this is the thing, it's like, okay, how high of a time frame do I have to go before it doesn't really matter anymore? Because again, we had this massive gap. Okay, this actually isn't that bad. So this is the thing, is we have the high, we have the low to the high, we've retraced to equilibrium, but we didn't print past the high, so we can still continue to use this range. So from here, we came into actually the blue area into this major gap pretty nicely. So what could this mean? We could still be in this range. We haven't printed past a low, we haven't printed past a high. So I guess we'll see how it goes. I really do guess I'll see how it goes. Now that I'm looking at the monthly, to be fair, this actually kind of makes sense. Now that I haven't actually looked at the monthly for XRP once, this kind of makes a bit more sense. You know what I mean? This kind of makes a lot more sense. I haven't... Same thing with syrup. It makes a lot more sense now. I mean, where's the midpoint of this? Is my question. We hit that real nice. Have we hit that real nice? Let's see. Let me anchor that quickly. Let me get that on there. Oh, we missed it, but it doesn't really matter. It's around about the midpoint. So we came into that. It kind of makes more sense. Whatever. XRP could go up, could go down. Whatever. Whatever. Leave me alone. Okay. XRP probably goes down. Again, market go down. XRP probably go down. See how it goes. Okay. I am finished. Okay. 10 minutes over. What is a chart crypto warehouse stream without going 10 minutes over? Okay. But regardless, thank you. All of you for watching. Okay, it was a shame that Binance Square didn't work. Oh well, it is a shame. But thank you all of you for joining. That is my market ruining situation in retrospect. That is it's pretty bad news. You know, it's pretty bad. It's just like I don't think it's hard to not. It's hard to think, oh, this is just me. I don't want to feel bad about this, because it's like everyone's feeling bad about this. Like everyone, this is bigger than COVID. This is bigger than FTX, and all it was Trump saying, yeah, I probably will put 100% tax or tariff tax or tariff tax. What am I saying? Not tax, tariffs on China. That's what it took. No magical Chinese flu, which locked everyone indoors. No magical curly head guy going to jail, and literally the money wasn't real. It was an Excel spreadsheet. No. That's not that bad. One of the biggest events happening in crypto alone. Obviously, COVID was a worldwide thing. Well, COVID hung the world. But no, Mr. Big Trump boy. 100% tariff on China. Bang, $16.8 billion of longs liquidated. So maybe it was a series of unfortunate events. Maybe everyone got too excited. Maybe everyone was really long. I don't know. But again, to be fair, 2x leverage has got liquidated as well. So it must have been pretty crazy. So in conclusion, we're still going down. I think so. Again, relative to what we're doing now, I do think we are going upwards to find that recovery a bit. You know, to come upwards and find more resistance. Because again, I would be very surprised if we completely clear the massive move down we've had for everything across the board. I'll be very surprised. Okay, so I do expect to move down. Again, Solana's already in a downtrend. Bitcoin's already in a downtrend. Ethereum's already in a downtrend. Syrup's already in a downtrend. Crow's already in a downtrend. Suri was probably already in a downtrend as well. XRP, I mean, with XRP, it's like we're not in a downtrend on a daily, weekly stuff going on. Now that I'm looking at the monthly, though, we came upwards, came down, failed to print. Now we're coming downwards. So technically, it makes sense, you know. So, but we've also we've come past this low, find massive support in this, so we could come up with one more time. Obviously, we still haven't done that. So as long as we're not printing past this low in 20 whole days, there you go. So obviously, we'll see how it goes. One of the biggest liquidations ever, and I'm so glad I was part of it, but on the short side. Yeah, I mean, obviously for me, it was 116. You know, it was a daily target. I thought, yeah, I know. Let's just see if we've reversed on Bitcoin. We're gonna come down. Let's see where we can target retracement. You know, actually, I don't even know where the deep of it was. Actually, I don't even remember. Yeah, 170. I was like, oh, we could maybe see 170, 116. Obviously, the 125 was about 112, but no, I didn't have 103. I didn't have 103. You know, I mean, I did have something. I think that's kind of the takeaway I have right now for this stream is same with XRP, same with what we have. You know, XRP. Now that I haven't looked, I don't know why I haven't done this. I haven't looked at the monthly for XRP once. I've never looked at it on stream. I don't know why. I don't really look at the monthly. The weekly is like, when I think of the weekly, I think we are looking at. I'm gonna be 60 by the time this plays out. You know, I might die. I might write my will by the time this play comes out. So anyway, but on the short, yeah, I'm one of the biggest. Yeah, I think I already read that, didn't I? Yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, everyone's gonna have their opinions. You know, people are gonna be short and long at the same time. For someone to be short, someone has to be long. Oh, no, not someone. Something has to be, for something to be short, something has to be long. You know, whether that be other people, you know, the higher aboves, you know, the market makers, if you will. So yeah, so obviously for someone to win, someone has to lose, in general anyway. But it's crazy, you know, and this is the thing to take away. For someone to win, someone has to lose. Everyone lost in this, and who won? BlackRock, Barron, Trump. Yeah, Trump's family and BlackRock, and probably some other. I mean, I think it was I don't know if this might be wrong. I heard a crypto firm got absolutely gone. It's gone. It lost all of its money. So I think it was literally BlackRock and Trump's family. So shout out to those lot. You know, they're doing their thing. But you know, literally, it was KB. It was Black. No, I mean, I did say we'd go down again. Thing is, I might have not shorted from the high all the way down to 103, but I would have had a really fast 116 short take profit. So I guess I'll take it. Was Mike negative as well? Maybe it was, yeah. I mean, I was negative. You know, I'll jump on the train. I might not be the conductor, but I'll be my coattails. I'll be on the train. Okay. I was short on Bitcoin. I was short on Bitcoin. I was short Ethereum. I was short Solana. I was short Syrup. No, I wasn't short Syrup because I didn't look at the Mexi. I thought I did. I swear I did. Am I going crazy? You know what? I'm gonna go back to my stream. I remember going, I don't have enough data on Syrup, and then I went to like MEXC. I went, oh, there's more data here. We have a gap down here and a old order block, but I don't know where it's gone. Maybe I'm crazy. XRP I wanted to come down. CRO wanted to come down. So across the board, whether it be an externality or not, I'll take it. So yes, congratulations, folks. Okay. If Mike's been saying it, KB's been saying, I've been saying it, then maybe, you know, it might be something you want us to. So maybe this is why our community needs to be more popular, because we've got people like KB, got people like Mike, got people like me, okay, saying it how it is in theory. And you know, it might be wrong sometimes, but hey, you know, when we're right, we're right. More right than wrong, that's what matters, okay? More right than wrong. And if you're not more right than wrong, make sure you have a great stop loss. But yeah, a lot of people lost. A lot of people lost. So, you know, it's been a shame, you know, for those lot who lost. But, you know, it's just swapping hands, you know. Money, I mean, obviously money does get printed, so, you know, it's not the same, money's finite. But, at the end of the day, it's just passing in between to and from. You know, BlackRock's got a bunch of money. This allows them to buy more homes and rent them out. You know, one day, maybe in 20 years, BlackRock will own every single home in the entire world and rent it all out. No one will own anything, and you'll be happy, as they say. So, hey, this is just one step closer to their master plan. I bet they were in cahoots. Baron Trump went, do you know what, Trump? Or do you know what, Dad? Just say crazy stuff. Just say something, all right? I'm going to short. Anyway, I'm yapping. 20 minutes over. I'm ending the stream. Thank you, all of you, for being on the stream. Appreciate you all. I will see you Monday. I'll see you Wednesday as well. Let's see how it goes. I expect some sort of general retracement, okay? I want to see some sort of, retracement towards some sort of lower high, okay? I don't think, again, I'll be very shocked if we come back upwards and we just go right past, boom, right past all the move we just had. I'll be very surprised. But again, I was saying this to Mike earlier before I started the stream. Is this just something which has happened? Or is this a catalyst? And this is what I was saying as well. Think back to COVID. Think back to FTX. Were those black swans, were they just random moves in a week? Or were those catalysts? That's the most important thing to remember. And you know what? I would probably have to go back, obviously. I don't know actually what time zone. I can't remember actually. It was February. Was it 20... Well, when was it? I can't remember when it was. It was somewhere. I don't know. I can't remember when it was. Whatever. But is it a catalyst? Or is it just a move? If it's a catalyst, and you know what? I want it to be a catalyst. And I've said it. Yep, I've said it. I want it to be a catalyst because down you come, 90k. So I'm in the stream. I'm yapping. Thank you, all of you. Appreciate you all. See you guys Monday. See you guys on Telegram. Hopefully you guys didn't burn too much. I know KB didn't burn. I know I didn't burn, but hopefully the rest of you haven't burnt too much. Hopefully, even if you did burn, you hopefully took some sort of initiative of getting in on it. I didn't. I wasn't in the market. I'm not gonna lie. I think Mike messaged me, and I saw the message like 30 minutes later. And by the time I saw his message, it done that and then done that. So I missed it all. But so I couldn't long or anything. But that's what it is. But thank you. See you all Monday. Shout out to you all. See you in Telegram. Have a great rest of your evening. Have a great. What is it? It's Saturday today. Yeah. Have a great rest of the weekend. Goodbye.